I'm honored to be the first of the technology guests here, to welcome you on this year's forum. And I'm happy that you are giving us a platform to help you in priming yourselves, for your own cyber defense initiatives. But of course, for the first one, we'll be discussing one of the key components of any organization here, or even in your personal lives, which is application. So applications has been a very significant part of our lives, no? Not just on a corporate scene, but also on a personal level. So in the span of 1.5 decade, I guess, applications has been pervasive in terms of our day-to-day transactions, no? And so most organizations are finding ways in order to efficiently deliver these applications to their intended users. And so for the latter part of that decade, I believe most CIOs thought that cloud is the way to go. Every application would be in the cloud. But we have seen that as the time progresses, we have seen that cloud is a very complex environment wherein there are many public cloud vendors where you can position your applications. Next is, of course, SaaS-based applications wherein the applications are ready and primed for your usage. And then lastly, of course, there are stubborn applications that can't be migrated on the cloud, and so it has to remain on our traditional data centers. And so it created a hybrid environment wherein our applications are scattered across different platforms or locations, which is not a bad thing because most organizations are now leveraging on the scalability and flexibility on where to position their applications, thus improving the overall cost efficiency of deploying such applications. No? So it's giving us some form of liberty in terms of how we deliver these offerings to your intended audience. This particular behavior also introduced a new form or a new way of meddling with your applications in the form of modern apps or APIs, wherein we have broken down our applications into multiple microservices in order for developers to introduce more changes in a faster rate, thus improving the overall business offerings of our applications. Not only that, those microservices can also be scattered individually across different environments. So as you can see here, it's becoming a little bit complex in terms of how we handle multi-cloud environments. So we're opening more applications to different locations. We're opening more doors through APIs. But like I said earlier, the more doors, the more threats can enter your environment, or the more ways for a threat actor to penetrate your organization. And so the multi-cloud setting has expanded the attack surface of any organizations as of date. So we are facing a different perspectives or different angles in terms of how we deal with this application dynamics. So not just on the security side actually, but also the complexity of tracing back or observing or having the visibility of where and what our applications are doing. So this particular complexity practically envelops you in multitude of ways, or what we call fires, in terms of affecting you in all fronts. So within F5, we have coined this particular phenomena as ball of fire. So it's a multitude of complexity or fires that envelops you and saturates you or drowns you of these many problems. I guess for most of you here within your organization are feeling the heat of this ball of fire. But of course, to elevate more the heat is the era of artificial intelligence. So now that we are just maturing on the multi-cloud setting, here comes another technology shift, of which what we're seeing here is in the next 3 years, 80% of all enterprise apps will use AI in some form or manner. So how did we arrive to this conclusion? No? So even as early as 2023, within a span of a year, going to 2024, there has been a lot of funding towards AI. As you can see here, we're in almost $250 billion has been allotted in establishing AI infrastructure. And 33% of venture capital funding across the globe are going to AI. And then, even as early as 2024, enterprises are now reaching around 65% in terms of adoption, 15% shy of the target 80%. What we didn't notice, or at least aware of as of right now, is AI fuels the ball of fire with more data. Of course, AI can't learn on its own. It needs multiple data sources to be more efficient, more accurate in terms of the information that it's spewing out. So it has to ingest as many information as possible in order to spew a more accurate information. And where are these informations coming from? Of course, on a multi-cloud setting, you have to let your AI, penetrate or enter the individual platforms that you have in order for it to make a more accurate context of the use case that it's being used to. But of course, on a security standpoint, no, it's as easy as we limit the number of information or location that the AI can only access, no, in order to train itself. But it defeats the purpose of how we want AI to be efficient with. No? AI relies on robust observability. So the more limits that you impose on AI, the less accurate or the less efficient its learning will be. So practically, it's a tug of war between how you want AI to succeed without even affecting your data privacy. And not only that, to add more fuel to the fire, AI introduces an entirely new class of security threats, as you have seen earlier, no? From Ma'am Angelica's presentation, wherein we can also abuse the same AI engines to deliver malicious outputs in the form of hallucinations, data exfiltration, injecting malicious prompts, agentic malware, which I will discuss later, as well as abuse of large language models. So yeah, so that's the two eras of application dynamics that we have to be wary about. No? So how do we deal with ball of fire first before we venture with AI? So for here, I will give you 3 tips to establish or prime yourselves in terms of anticipating AI adoption towards your organization. First in line of which is, ask yourself, where are your applications? So I'm not limiting the ideas from the bullet points that you are seeing here in the slide. You have to properly identify where your applications are in your multi-cloud environments, which are critical as well, and which are sending or imposing sensitive data. So that on the second part, we can identify, we should ask again ourselves, what security controls do we still need? Because the good thing is, the existing security controls that we may have as of right now, for example, WAF, DDoS mitigation, etc., are still very relevant even on an AI era. So on the positive note, we can salvage, I would say, some security controls that we can use on the early stages of our adoption, so that you only have to identify the remaining security controls that you will need in order to succeed with your own AI adoption. So for example, API security, which is the backbone actually of AI security as well, no? Wherein we have, like I said earlier, no, on the first point, where your applications are, most probably every platform that you are using are communicating via APIs. So you have to protect those transitionary points within your organization. And of course, we also have to leverage about AI as well, or behavioral security in terms of protecting our own assets. So I would say AI era is also an AI versus AI in terms of cybersecurity. We are talking about speed. Again, going back to Ma'am Angelica's presentation earlier, no? So it only took 30 seconds to extract or information or do a manipulation of a certain individual, no? So you have to also leverage on AI in order to speed up yourselves in terms of protecting against such attacks. And also use this control in order to balance out how you want to expose data to your training, AI training, or to the LLMs, wherein you balance out how they access information across your multi-cloud environment. And then from there, using AI as well, observe how it use those information at hand so that you can adjust freely, in turn making a very adaptable cybersecurity environment for your organization. And then the last question would be, who are the stakeholders within your organization when it comes to AI adoption and in turn AI security? Contrary to popular belief, wherein only cybersecurity professionals should be responsible to the cybersecurity initiatives of your organization, more than ever before, everyone in your organization is now involved in terms of practicing cybersecurity. Hence, the theme of this forum, no? Priming for cyber defense. Because everyone now has to be aware on how data is being used, how AI is affecting your own cybersecurity practices, and how you can contribute to your own organization. So from the C-level, even to the architects, and even to the individual operational teams of your respective organization, you have to collaborate between one another in terms of tackling how you want to approach multi-cloud setting, multi-cloud cybersecurity, and in turn, AI adoption. So yeah, so those three guiding questions has been also been the guiding principle of F5 in evolving our own technology as well. No? So we have seen the evolution of the application delivery controller, or ADC, into an application delivery and security platform. So coming from question number 1, wherein where your applications are, ADC technology has to adapt in a form wherein it has to be as close as possible to the app, wherever it may be. So that's how F5 approaches it. From our traditional appliance standpoint, we have evolved in terms of going inside the virtual machine environment, and now on a containerized, and then on the last form of our solution, which is a SaaS-based. So we are covering all fronts in order to help standardize how we implement application delivery and security across the board. Tackling the next question is, what security controls do we have? we have also improved our own security portfolio to adjust to the technology shift that is happening right now. From the traditional application security, such as WAF, access control, as well as load balancing, we have added more and more feature sets, such as um, API security, and now going to the part of AI gateway. So we know the remaining security controls that we do not have, and that's where we focused on. And then lastly, for the final question of who are the stakeholders within your organization, so we also know the lacking technologies or lacking principles that we have within our own organization, or at least the limitation of the ADSP. No? And so we have realized those shortcomings, and we have partnered with other technology vendors as well in order to create a more cohesive ecosystem in battling multi-cloud security or application security as a whole. So yeah, so that's practically on our guidance in terms of how you prime yourselves in terms of application security or adapting to application security dynamics, going to AI as of right now. But before I close, no, I would like to say that F5 is just one of the technologies here in this forum. No? We are only limited to sharing the technology advances that we have that may help you in priming yourselves. But we have to identify that it's not only technology that is relevant on any strategy or initiatives that you may have. It's always technology, people, and process. So on behalf of the other speakers here, I would say thank you again for giving us a platform, and let us help you in priming for your cyber defense initiatives. So thank you.